I want to say good morning to Ahana's dad. Avin, how are you this morning? Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Rush.
Good morning, team. Thank you very much. We're doing okay, thanks. And thank you for the opportunity.
So, Avin, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure to open up a platform where you can bring information to various listeners about Ahana and her plight. So, in our efforts to do that, Mummy's here as well, by the way, and she said to us, "I'm not going to speak." She's a little bit emotional and all that. Her voice is cracking a little bit. We're live on Facebook as well, so it's the Radio Al Ansar Facebook page that you could go onto, and you can have a look at the interview. You can listen to it there as well. You can see Dad Avin, who's with us as well. Avin, tell us about baby Ahana. How old is she? And how did her diagnosis come about?
So Ahana turns 2 next month. And around sort of October, sort of end October, we noticed a little lump on her back in between the spine and the right shoulder blade.
Right.
Within 8 days post that, we were diagnosed with stage 4 high-risk neuroblastoma.
4?
Stage 4. So it's the last stage and it's the highest risk. So the tumor started in the chest cavity. So what we've seen at the back was actually the tumor pushing through the spine, pushing out through the gap in between the spine and the shoulder blade. But it had started in the chest cavity, so it was quite large. And it was pushing, obviously, other vital organs within that space, so the lung, the heart, the aorta. So the heart slightly moved to the left. Her left vocal cords temporarily paralyzed because of the tumor. That was the diagnosis we had gotten around probably the 31st of October.
We understand that you've started a GoFundMe campaign, and the purpose of this campaign is to raise funds for Ahana's treatment. Can you tell us more about the campaign?
Absolutely. So, because of the rarity of neuroblastoma, the treatment available within South Africa is limited, and the outcome, overall survival rate, is quite poor. It's slightly better in European countries and American associates. So that prompted us to obviously deep dive into finding out if there is any possibility of a better chance for Ahana. And that led us to a hospital in New York called Memorial Sloan Kettering, who's the only hospital in the world currently running a clinical trial for stage 4 high-risk neuroblastoma patients. The trick with this sort of cancer is the high rate of relapse. So once you relapse, to cure it within South Africa is literally nil. But in European countries, there's a 5% sort of survival rate. So this hospital's running a clinical trial which is showing phenomenal results on reducing the risk of relapse. So hopefully if you get into remission and you go on this vaccine trial, your chances of relapsing are quite reduced versus currently
in South Africa.
And obviously, because it's a clinical trial, it's one hospital in the world. It's not FDA approved. It comes at a cost. And with the current exchange rate with rands versus dollars, it's an exceptional cost. So it's currently sitting around 7 million. The treatment spans over 3 years. And out of that 7 million, 4 million needs to be paid upfront before you fly out to New York. So that's a challenge we're facing, and we obviously turn to a GoFundMe page to the easiest and quickest platform to create awareness and to obviously spread the word. And again, our goal is just to create awareness ultimately for this type of cancer, because childhood cancer is not it's not uncommon anymore. It's just unknown. So that's the unfortunate part, but we have an opportunity here to make a change with this treatment.
Absolutely. Now, cancer can be aggressive in some instances. How imperative is it for Ahana to receive this treatment outside of South Africa?
So it is literally a life-saving treatment for her at her current condition. Without it, she will not survive, and that's unfortunately the facts of it. So we have no option but to get her to this treatment, and it's the only one around the world. So in the 13th of December, one of the other trials got FDA approved, and that took 10 years.
Wow.
So in the next 5 to 10 years, this vaccine will become FDA approved and it will be available to everyone. What we want to do is pioneer the change for kids in Africa as well. So pushing on to achieving it.
How can our listeners contribute to the GoFundMe campaign?
So there is a link that you click on, or you could search Ahana under the GoFundMe search bar. Also, if we what we wanted GoFundMe to create was spread the awareness, and obviously every donation counts. So we hope that it will achieve it. The community feedback has been phenomenal. So we're truly humble. We're truly taken aback by everyone's support, prayer, and hopefully it continues and we can reach a goal to try and get Ahana to New York.
Absolutely. So I'm on the GoFundMe page at the moment, and the big headline on there says, "Help baby Ahana in her fight against cancer, raising funds to give 20-month-old Ahana the life-saving treatment she needs to survive from the rare form of cancer, stage 4, high risk neuroblastoma." So I'm looking at a picture of this little one as well, with this huge smile on her face. She's such a cutie pie. I want to bring you, I know you said you didn't want to speak, but I have to bring you into the conversation to get mummy's perspective, basically. I know dad prepared for the interview, but you're here. Good morning, Avanya.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
It is our pleasure. From mum's perspective, dad's going to be this strong guy, the pillar of strength, and he's going to just, shoulders back, chest out, chin up. I'm moving forward. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to try this. We're going to try that. I'm pretty certain you're the one giving him the strength, as much as you may be feeling emotionally weak, because this is your baby. This is your babaki, and she's going through all of this. Talk to us. Talk to all the mums that are listening in this morning. October 2023. You walk into a doctor's surgery, you're giving this information that your almost 2-year-old has now got stage 4 cancer. Talk to us about what happens in your mind, in your heart. What happens?
Well, it was the Sunday, the 29th of October. I woke up that morning and I had Ahana lying on me, and I felt a lump on her back. I started to prod on that lump and poke around it, and I noticed that there was no pain because she was not reacting. I immediately took her to my husband and told him that this is not normal. From prior experiences, we knew that we're not going to get any joy from casualties. So what we did, what I did, is that Monday morning, like literally at 8 o'clock, I started calling the doctor's rooms. So I called Ahana's pediatrician, and I asked for the earliest appointment. That was now around 12. We went in for the appointment, and he says not to worry at all. It's just a lipoma, which is fatty tissue. In any event, he says go ahead and have the X-ray and ultrasound scan performed. And fortunately, both were ordered at the same time. But he reassured us that it was nothing to worry about because he's seen those lumps before.
Right.
In any event, still feeling unsettled about something abnormal in your baby's body. We're still a bit anxious as you go through these scans. And I mean, that was the first time that I was actually in an X-ray room. So I haven't even had any prior experience in that regard. So we took her, and then when I went for the ultrasound, I was actually alone at that time. And the radiographer tells me this is not normal. I haven't seen this before. And then I asked, what do you mean you haven't seen this before? She says, no, I just haven't seen it before, but hold on, I'll call the radiologist. The radiologist walks in, and he has a look, and he says, don't worry about it, but go back up to the pediatrician's rooms. And once again, I was alone with Ahana at that time, and I knew that it was unusual for him to say it's nothing, but go back to the pediatrician's room.
Yeah.
The pediatrician then said that the problem is that they cannot actually see what that lump is. They're saying it's an inconclusive result regarding that mass, and that the radiologist wants to have a CT scan performed. And he says, once again, it's nothing to worry about. Go home, come back at the end of the week. Don't even worry about it. You know, you're just anxious because you're a mom.
Yeah.
But don't worry. And then I insisted that we would go ahead with the CT scan. That we would be admitted for the CT scan, have it with contrast, and the CT scan was fortunately performed later that day. And then once again, while we were admitted, my husband, being a cancer survivor himself, kept on running after the pediatrician, and he's like, "Are you sure there's nothing to worry about?" And he said, "Yes, I'm sure there's nothing." You know, we saw his face when he walked into the ward, and he was shocked. And he said, "I want to see you all in the tea room." And I think that's when the nerves just kicked in even more. And I cannot even describe to you the feeling hearing that news. Our world came crashing down. We literally fell to the floor in tears. And, you know, from that result, it was just stage 4 neuroblastoma. And we knew what stage 4 meant. And on that day, you think that there's little hope. And then, like Evaan said, we just have to turn into fight mode. And the next day, we were just referred to the pediatric oncologist. That was the next morning. We had the appointment at 8 a.m. And then we kicked off from there. We built ourselves up. Obviously, that first week was really, really tough. It remains tough. It's still a long journey ahead. But we're reaching out for support in all forms. We're pleading to the public in respect of saving Ahana's life. She would be the first in Africa, but there have been kids from around the world who go on this and whose lives have been saved. And they managed to do that only with the support from their communities, from their states, from their provinces, from their countries. So we plead for support in helping us save our only baby's life.
A heartfelt plea from a mommy. I'm posting on our Facebook page right now the article from the GoFundMe page. There's a link that you could go to on that post. You click on it, it will take you to the GoFundMe page, and then you know what to do thereafter. So read it. The article's on the GoFundMe page. You could read up all of the information that they've posted on there and help baby Ahana in her fight against cancer. Last question.
Are there any other activities that are planned to raise funds for baby Ahana? And if there are, can you please provide us with that information?
Sure. We do have quite a few upcoming events, but the most recent ones are two sort of market events. One at Musgrave Market on the 17th of Feb, so that's the Saturday.
Right.
We'll be there between 12 to 5 p.m.
Right.
And it's just a show of support. So we're going to be there with sort of spray cans, spray your hair in support of cancer, in support of Ahana, make a donation if possible. But we just want to sort of meet the community, sort of chat to people around the story, create the awareness. And the next one is Belito Farmers Market. So a similar setup there for the 24th of Feb. And those are the most two recent events that we have on.
Okay. So it's the Musgrave Market this week, Saturday, the 17th of Feb from 12 to 5.
Yes.
And the Belito's Farmers Market on the 24th of Feb.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So we ask our listeners, if you can go. Meet this family. Talk to them. Interact with them. Find out if you have questions. Ask the questions and find out how you can help. But for now, go to the Breakfast Rush Facebook page. The post from this morning, from literally 2 minutes ago, is the post where you click on the link and it'll take you to the GoFundMe page. There's an approximate of and I say approximate, why we cannot give you an exact number is because the rand dollar fluctuation, the rand pound fluctuation, the rand euro fluctuation. At the moment, what we can confirm is that 300,000 pounds are required. So click on it, go there, donate, share, do something. There's a fair amount of messages coming through as well from our listeners with regard to this, and we cannot go through those messages right now. We'll try and answer them as much as possible soon. Zinat, who's listening in right now, sends through a message that says, "It breaks my heart." May Allah give a shifa. Ameen. She says, "I had a daughter with leukemia, so I understand the battle and the hospital visits and adapting to a new way of life, of needles, of lumbar punctures, blood, platelets, transfusions for a 2-year-old. It's just not easy. Zinat's advice is take it a day at a time, trust in the Almighty, as well as the doctors. They have the expertise. Babies are resilient and stronger than we think." And she ends off with a whole series of hearts saying, praying for Ahana. So our listeners are sympathizing with you. I want to say thank you to you for your messages coming through. But here's the thing. We need you to go to that GoFundMe page. There are no banking details that we can share with you. There are no, listen carefully, there are no banking details that we can share with you. We've shared the GoFundMe page. Please go there. So there's one point of collection for little Ahana where everything is there for you to see, for you to track. And when you go in and you make your donation and you watch it, you track it for a couple of days and you think, hey, I want to give it a little bit more for a boost, and you want to make a second donation, by all means, go for it. To the both of you, we pray strength for the family and for her relief as soon as possible. Keep us informed as to what is going on, and if we can help going further, we certainly will.
Oh.